Hello and welcome. Luke Riley here with Cam Shea,
Hey,
my
Luke.
partner in speed.
Oh, yeah.
And this week,
You're the Speed Weasel, I'm the Speed
the
Wheeze.
Speed Wheeze. Yeah, you'll actually. I don't know whether you'll realise this in a moment. Maybe on the top score screen, we couldn't fit Speed Weasel into the name screen. Just Speed Wheeze.
Yeah. Why would want to fit Speed Weasel is a story for another day.
As you may or may have not already gathered, this week's classic racing game is Power Slide.
Woo!
Which, upon a little research, I realized that if you're in the US, you may not even know what this game is because this
What was
game-
it called?
No, it's called Power Slide.
Oh, okay.
But GT Interactive, we're probably getting ahead of ourselves, but GT Interactive really sent this game out to die in the
Oh.
US. They produced very few copies of it. And while this performed fine in Europe and all that,
Yeah.
in the US it was just, no confidence.
But IGN described it as fully rendered and beautiful.
That's
according to the Wikipedia entry.
According to the
that is.
Wikipedia entry, yes. This game is developed by now defunct studio Ratbag.
Yep.
Ratbag Games, who were based in Adelaide, South Australia. So this
And what else? What else did they make over their history, Luke?
Well, this was their first game. So this is part of what makes Power Slide quite impressive. Because this was their very first game. So they didn't have a great deal of experience in building games back in the late 90s. What else they made? They made all the dirt track racing games.
Yep.
The World of Outlaws games, for instance. And they also had a few games in the pipe that never came about. They had a game called Scavenger, which was like a Mad Max riff, which obviously took a little bit what they learned from Power Slide. That never came about. Midway bought Ratbag in 2005. They bought them in August 2005, and then closed them in December 2005.
Oh, God.
Like 4 months later. And not only did they close them, it was just before Christmas. They announced on December 13 that the guys that we just bought, we're gonna close them. And then 2 days later, they closed them. So it was 48 hours,
Wow. Thanks
and
for that.
Ratbag were gone.
Yeah.
That was it.
This is Midway, you said?
Yeah, Midway.
See, I think the mistake Midway made is that they bought a game developer capable of making good games.
Yeah.
I don't know if your
They were
feelings about
used to it.
Midway
Yeah.
and mine are similar, but I didn't regard them as a high-quality publisher.
Yeah. This game, 1998, this is a long time ago.
Yep.
But it's kind of around the period where all of our games have been coming from recently, with Colin McRae, which was 99.
Yep.
98.
Wipeout, which was around then as well.
Wipeout, which slightly
little
before,
earlier.
but definitely that era. But this was on PC, and
Let's get off this
let's
screen,
get off
because
the
right
screen.
now there's no advantage.
There's
No advantage to watching this instead of just reading it.
That is a good point. I can't select anything but novice. Just quietly, the big heaver.
Oh yeah. Oh, what the hell?
See, I wanted to bring attention to this. So I'm glad this came up. I like, back in the 90s when you used to play a racing game, and it still happens today with kart games, for instance. But we've gone away from the choosing a character to drive the car, which was it's just completely pointless.
It was a thing in Wipeout as well.
Yeah.
And it was just like Daniel Chan. Like, who? What? Like.
But it's gone now, and I kind of miss it a little bit.
I also miss Kai's Super Goo, which is obviously the program they used to warp that guy's face.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one.
Colonel Slanders, Dodgy
And
Dave.
all these guys as well.
With a banana. One of the things that
Who wouldn't choose Dodgy Dave?
I'm going to choose Dodgy Dave right now. One of the things in the manual for Power Slide, and I vaguely remember seeing some of this information, but I had to look it up afterwards. In the manual for Power Slide, there's a few things I'll get to. I can't read it out when I'm racing, but one of the things they mentioned is that people were racing for fruit, because fruit was a delicacy in the post-apocalyptic world of Power Slide,
Right.
which we're all seeing now. This is the first track, so
I
this
gotta
is
say, like, yeah, racing for something more evocative would get me a bit more excited.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be believable, really.
Yep.
You know. And by the way, we should mention.
Here we go. Here's the Power Slides.
Oh, nice. We've upped the resolution. We're running this at 1080p.
Yes.
32-bit color.
Yep.
Everything ticked. We even ticked letterbox.
We even ticked letterbox.
And then we had to come back and
accidentally.
untick letterbox
The
because
scan line interweave.
yeah,
We ticked that. We ticked everything except
there was
letterbox.
no button called giant pixels on all rocky surfaces.
Yeah.
But boy, you know, I looking at it now, I would have ticked it regardless.
We should mention that, like, we're playing this on our extraordinarily large TV, not a small tiny computer.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, on a tiny little computer monitor. That you would have been playing this in the 90s.
Hey, Luke, I can't also help but see that you're playing it with the keyboard.
I did also want to draw attention to that because
we've got a massive wheel right here. why aren't we using a badass
what I
wheel?
wanted to do is recreate the sensation of playing racing games the way I used to play them in the 90s on PC, which was on the arrow keys on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, I was the same.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
So that and it all kind of it brought it back to me how. Like and I say this, I don't say this in a disparaging way, but how kind of superficial the handling in sort of a lot of these old racing games was. But to be fair, that's kind of the point because these long and lazy power slides that you kind of execute when you're drifting around. And this is a really open track. One of the dam, for instance, which I think we'll get to. I think we'll do 3. We'll have time for 3 tracks here. The dam we'll get to is a lot more complex. And like tricky to get around, particularly with the arrow keys on the bloody keyboard.
But you're pretty much saying that kind of like sophistication of the technology aside, like from a gameplay perspective, they had to understand that a lot of people are using the arrow keys, and so the handling had to be accessible for purely digital control.
Totally. I mean, that brings us neatly to the fact that this game at the time was a hugely sophisticated and technically impressive game. One of the things that
I mean, these physics were pretty astounding at the time. The way the body of the car kind of bounces up and down. The
suspension modeling, the sense of inertia when you get into that slide.
It definitely has seems to have a sense of weight about it.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
a lot of racing games at that time may not have.
Definitely
been as convincingly
definitely at that time. Yeah. And the fact that that track, for instance, the track was so open. There's no barriers you can drive off. There's like one of the things on the box was it was like
snort and slur.
Look, speed wheeze.
So hey, there we go.
You choose your own name, but then
you choose a guy,
yeah,
and then you subsume him with your name. That is so weird. Skid Kid. That's such an unfortunate name, really.
And then the kid.
And the kid with less skid, which is a good thing. Sorry, I interrupted. What were you saying?
I can't remember. But one of the things that while this is loading, I'll mention.
Oh, you were talking about the box, the stuff.
That's
in the
right.
box,
Yeah. The reason I like this track. The reason the world has gone to crap in this game. Like I mentioned in the text that a lot of games have sort of looked to the likes of Mad Max for inspiration, which is a hugely influential film series, that dystopian, post-apocalyptic kind of landscape, etc., etc. This game is nowhere near as brazen as many other games.
No gyrocopters.
No gyrocopters. No dudes in leather outfits. Not that I've noticed. But there, and the key difference between Mad Max and Power Slide is, of course, in Mad Max we ran out of oil. In Power Slide, the world ran out of bees.
Oh, so they couldn't.
They couldn't pollinate the food.
Right.
Which meant all their crops died. Which meant all the humans died.
Oh,
well, not all the humans, but the humans that remained.
Such a precious commodity in this world, Luke.
The humans that remained craved fruit, and were willing to race in these incredibly dangerous Power Slide.
But what killed the bees, Luke?
What killed the bees?
Because we're kind of on the path to kill the bees ourselves.
The ozone layer disappeared. In the Power Slide universe, there is no ozone layer. There you go. The more you know.
It seemed like such a real threat once upon a time.
Well, I mean, look, this Power Slide, when you think about it, Power Slide is a parable for our times. It's a warning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a not too subtle parable that we think we're going forwards, but we're really just going sideways, and sometimes backwards without even knowing it.
Sometimes, yeah.
and we're kicking up mud. You know, the skid marks are staining our our non-post-apocalyptic pants.
You had it sideways.
Yeah, I know. I should have stopped.
It's incredibly. This track is apparently actually this track is a good deal of the reason. Yeah, a good deal of the reason why there ended up being Ratbag ended up sort of moving into the dirt track racing games because they found a lot of people were racing this track online.
Yeah,
and they were hooked on it because of that.
So would you say that
you got to sort of nail that?
Is this Power Slides Polar Wharf? Would you say?
Yes, I would.
You could just play it over and over again against people because it's all about like there's so much skill in something so simple.
Yeah, easy to sort of grasp, but tricky to nail, tricky to master. Yeah, Polar Wharf, of course, famous from Mashed. In case you're not familiar,
which is a game we will get to
we will
at some point.
Definitely.
But you know what? You can't start with Mashed.
No.
You know.
No, you can't start
Mashed
with Mashed.
will be the very last game before the bees are all gone.
This will be a last track. We're coming up to the dam now, which is a lot trickier because there is. I'll probably just do it so I can show you, but you kind of get tricked into thinking, oh, that's a shortcut, and then you don't feel too bad about missing it because you're like, oh, I've overshot the shortcut.
Yep.
Not to worry. Doesn't matter. See, all those guys disappear down there. You're like, it doesn't matter. That's a shortcut. Not to worry. And you keep going, and then you get to
what?
You get to this.
Well, that's great course design. That is great course design. Yeah, it's interesting going back to racing games from this era because yesterday I was checking a couple out that I have very fond memories of, and I thought would be great candidates for this series.
Yeah.
So I hopped into a game called Motorhead, which is actually one of the first games I reviewed when I started doing reviews professionally.
Yep.
And yeah, just the dead ends and just the lack of kind of finesse with some of the course design is just atrocious now. And the other one was MotorTune Grand Prix 2.
That's
which I really loved.
Kazunori Yamauchi's game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he made that before Gran Turismo.
And I really enjoyed it at the time. I think in hindsight it was probably just because it was really trippy.
Yep.
But yeah, like I tried to take a shortcut in that, and yeah, dead end. Like just
the
wall. It just looked like a tunnel, but it wasn't one.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing that one if you indeed get around to that one because I personally have never played that MotorTune Grand Prix.
I don't think you're gonna love it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean I think it'd be a bit of a slog for me to kind of rediscover why I loved it because it didn't really come flooding back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's kind of one of the dangers of this kind of content.
Yeah.
And looking back at these sorts of games, because I mean, like for instance, Power Slide, I'm not regretting dropping the $7.50 it cost on Good Old Games. And to be on that topic, I honestly wish there was more games from that era that were available on that service, or others like it.
Because it can be a blush. Because I've got a copy of Motocross Madness, like a physical disc of it, and I'm just really reluctant to put it into my PC because I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to run. And I looked on Good Old Games, I don't think they have it. And I really, really want to play that game again.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, it's not even racing games, but they just, I guess that's one of the most annoying things about old PC games. I mean,
how much more straightforward is PC gaming today? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas console gaming is like PC gaming.
Yeah, I know. It is.
It's crap. Hey, quick question.
Yes.
Are there does it get significantly faster? Are there mods for your vehicles? Are there just faster vehicles? Are there like speed classes, anything like that? Because this game would be, I think, really stand up really well if it was just a bit quicker.
Bit quicker?
Yeah.
Yeah? You mean like Wipeout?
Maybe not quite that quick, but yeah, it just feels a bit too lazy. The drifts are too lazy,
Yeah, right.
I'd like there to be some kind of higher stakes.
I wonder whether or not some of these, particularly this track, for instance, and definitely later ones, which I haven't unlocked yet, not since rebuying this game, but I think there's a finite level of speed you could tackle a track like this at. There's these straight sections, I think, that you could go faster down, but I don't know, man.
I just think it's exactly like Wipeout in a sense.
Yeah. Totally.
In that with Wipeout, you learn the driving line at a certain speed, and then the next speed you have to change it completely.
Yeah.
And so I can see the driving line changing, but it being more satisfying because it's a higher skill level required.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I mean, yeah. It's funny. I don't know if I've played a game with as little friction as Power Slide has since Power Slide. Like it's all about this like ice-like surface. It's like basically funny you mentioned Polar Wolf actually, because I haven't made that connection until now. But
there's an element there. Isn't there?
on that Polar Wolf track particularly with Mashed, there is so little grip. But that is Power Slide at all times on every surface.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been 17 years since I played Power Slide, and I'm happy to have gone back to it. And it looks every year of those 17 years old. You know what I mean? But it does.
There's still something good here.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
look at that.
Hello.
Totally meant that.
That was not a novice move at all.
No.
We're in the wrong category.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's definitely a shame. I mean, we've virtually got no big console studios or big PC game studios down in Australia anymore. Aside from Big Ant, for instance, but everyone else is sort of making smaller mobile games, which is, people have carved out a good business, and that's fine. But it is a shame to see studios like Ratbag not existing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've got Real Racing is like the current kind of flagship Australian developed racing series.
game. Yeah, with Fire Monkeys.
Ooh.
Look at that! Oh, I've been
an
awarded an apple. Yes.
And it's unlocked the Devil's Elbow and Mineshafted tracks.
Mineshafted. Awesome.
I think that's about as good a place to leave it as we could have hoped for.
I'm going to go and enjoy my apple. As always, hit us up on Twitter at Mr. Luke Riley, at Jazzabration.
Yep.
You guys have been doing that so far, which has been it's been great to get your feedback and hear the sort of games that you want us to cover. Rest assured, we'll be getting to many of them. But yeah, keep hitting us up with suggestions.
Yep.
And tune in next week for another Taco Tuesday. I don't know what it'll be yet, but even if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you.
I know what my next game is, but I don't know whether that'll be next week or the week after.
Ooh,
yeah, but I know what I want to do.
All right.
And it's not that dissimilar in gameplay to this.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's exciting. See you then.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.